So Cricket Life Stories with me, Neel Khagram. Today we're joined by Donovan Miller. Don, how's it going?
It's been good. I would actually rather to be outside, but yeah, I'm just glad to be here today to get this done.
Yeah, so Don, we're going to do some bowling drills and tips you're going to give us. Before we get into it, let's talk a little bit about your career. I know you were born in Jamaica, came over to the UK, played second 11 cricket for Derbyshire and Essex.
Yeah.
Talk us through it.
Yeah, I mean, I came here in the late '90s, and as just like any other young guy, as a mad cricket lover who loves the game and like to play. At that time, you didn't really have much like people to look up to who to get into counties or to get where you want. So we just used to just play club cricket and without no coaching and just play the game and learn by ourselves. So that's how I get involved in playing, yeah.
And talk us through the move into coaching. You got involved with it pretty early. So age of 20, you started getting involved in
yeah
coaching world?
Yeah, so again, I've just been playing some club cricket at the club and started doing some voluntary, and I kind of realized that even like people my age at that time who were like 19, 20, they were really into the stuff I'm doing. So that kind of, I kind of thought, even though I did want to play, I just carry on coaching, and I think I remember was very close to getting a little professional contract at one stage of my career, and then a coaching job come, and I choose to do coaching instead of playing, and things just get from strength to strength from there.
And you've had huge success involved in the Caribbean Premier League. Talk us through the teams that you've been coached and the head coaches as well.
In terms of the Caribbean Premier League, it started out at Jamaica, and the first year in 2016, where I was assistant coach there, we won that, and then I moved on to St. Kitts for 2 years, where we get to two back-to-back finals, and then I moved back to Jamaica as the head coach in 2019. Yeah, so a lot of CPL experience. And then last year I was with another team. I think it was the Zooks I was with. So many of them now. I'm beginning to last track. But yeah, very enjoy CPL. I have a lot of experience that side of the world, and hopefully I'll be back this year again.
And the Canadian tournament as well.
Yeah, that's a pretty interesting tournament. Probably one of my favourite, to be fair. I know it says Canada, but it's a really good standard of cricket. I call it the mini IPL. So yeah, we were very fortunate to got to two back-to-back finals, which we with the Vancouver Knights, which we win in the first season one, and in season two we lost in the final in a super over. So yeah, that was pretty dramatic. But yeah, so.
And then domestically in the UK, you've been involved with Essex as well, bowling coach, elite performance assistant coach.
Yeah, my role at Essex spread right over, really. So I work for Dan Cricket, so and with things happening so fast, and I'm never around. I've never been able to be here a full season. But the guys at Essex are very helpful. They, whenever I'm available, they always have some form of work for me. So yeah, it's something I surely enjoy there.
I've also got to talk about your involvement with England. 2019 World Cup. How did that all come about and that journey?
Yeah, so 2019 was just, it was really 2018. I mean, I think England was playing a test series against Pakistan, and I just went down to Lords to kind of help Hooky out. I used the word help to just throw some left-armers at him, and he asked me if I want to come in and do some stuff with some of the other England boys, and that's how it all started, and yeah, just been asked to come in and help out a little bit again during the World Cup, which was which was pretty fascinating to be around those guys, and to be in the changing room, at the end at the World Cup final when the guys were lifting that cup and singing and enjoying what was a special moment was really good for me to be a part of.
And for those who wanted to get in touch with you about coaching, Instagram probably the best way. We'll put the link in the description below, but what's your handle? Is it at Don Cricket?
Yeah, at Don Cricket. So yeah, that's where I think most modern day people are at now. So yeah, I do most of my stuff on Instagram. So yeah, please do so if you want to get in touch.
Yeah, so please check that out. Put the link in the description below. But for now, Don, can't wait to get into these bowling drills.
Yeah.
Let's go. So Don, we've got your son here as well to hand. Do you want to talk us through your bowling philosophies before we get into the specifics of the drills?
Okay, so I am very big on coaching the individual. So I look at the individual attributes, his disciplines, you know, what he has, and then I try to add to that. Okay, as long as he's safe. So it's very simple as that. I try and keep it as simplify everything. Yeah. So yeah, just coaching the individual. So and then after I have enough information over a long time, and we have some clarity around the athlete, then we could start looking to add things, not to take anything away from what he already has. So obviously Donovan is a young fast bowler. So some of the stuff that I've been looking at is he quick? Does he have pace? Okay, how can I encourage that? And if I walk you down here, I'll show you a little drill I'll use to encourage that without he even knowing that's what I'm doing. So this is a target here. So this target is just set up here. I just kind of create it a little bit, and it's set up on maybe a good length specifically for him, where he would like to bowl. So the first target would be how often can he hit this? Okay. Then the next challenge would be, we'll move on from that. Can he hit it and let it fall over? Okay, because it's quite heavy. So that is the encouraging phase. For him to hit it, for it to fall over, he really has to try and bowl quick. So I want to encourage pace and accuracy at the same time. So that's a simple drill there. So right away there, that one didn't hit the target, but it clipped the top of off stump. Looks like a little bit of pace on it as well. So right away, he's already more focused. I will move this target, and if you notice, much smaller. So I can challenge him by putting it this way, or I could challenge him by putting it this way, see if he could hit this. But it's also, I want to encourage him as well to hit the top of off. So even though there's a target there, if he does miss the target, can he still hit the stump? So there you go again. So there's another little just to try and continue to encourage him to be as accurate as he can. So right away, so second ball, he's on the money. So all I can do now is to continue challenging him. So line up this with about off stump. Okay, so let me just double check if that's lined up. That's too far up. Because I want to encourage him to hit the stumps as well. So if you notice now, it's just it's a smaller target as we go along. As you can see again, just another little target, just in that area. You know, you can put it anyhow you want. So anywhere in that area, again around challenging the stump. And all I'm going to do now is I'm going to remove this. And this little ball now is lined up. So the aim is I would just let the bowler try and bowl 6 ball just around this. If they get it anywhere close to that, that's good enough. If they can hit the stump, then the more magic. If he missed the target and hit the stump, for me it's even better, because it means he's in the right channel. So now can he bowl the same ball to a left-hander? And all I do is just move it there and just encourage him as well to bowl to a left-hander, just in case a left and a right-hander combination is batting. So again, if you notice there, you know, all I was doing is challenging the bowler. There's a few targets, there's always a challenge, there's always a competition. During that period, I might be taking some video footage as well, and then I will go away and I'll look at his action. I'll maybe look where his feet is landing. I'll look if he's finished off his action, if if his hands is finishing off nicely, finishing off in action. And stuff like I'll look at is he strong in this position when he landed? Is he bowling from here with a bent leg, with a flex in his knee, or is he coming over the top nicely? And those are the things I'll look at over a period of time, and then maybe, as I said before, look to try and add some more stuff to develop that. I wouldn't be doing it now because it's a full cricket season. Maybe in the winter, then when we have a lot of time, we could look how we could develop those areas. As a young bowler, and even you're always trying to get better. And once you're stronger, that gives you a better chance. So again, as I said, Donovan is only a 15-year-old, and the drills, I'm always challenging him. So I'm gonna just challenge him to bowl a few Yorkers, and the whole point of these Yorkers is just trying. If you're in a position and you have to bowl at the death, and someone is going after you, you have something to go to. Okay. It's not the easiest thing to execute, so I've never put any pressure on any player. So like this, if you look here now, I have all different type of target. So if I was, say, it depends on where the type of player. So if this was an international player and we planning specific for a specific individual, some people, they stand back deep in their crease. Some people move about in the crease, whether left or right-handers. So we normally look to say, okay, we're going to put these small one here, where they stand. Whether we're going to go straight Yorkers there, we could put two there, or we could go this way, or I could just put it here for a wide Yorker, or I could just put it here for a wide Yorker to the lefty there, or even to the right-hander, or maybe if someone hit someone in the heel there, we could just put it there like that. So you're looking to hit the heel, the back heel, wherever, whether right or left-hander, so it's all flexible. But for the younger players like Donovan, all I'm going to do is I want to encourage him to bowl bigger. So I'm going to give him a bigger target to hit here. And also, if you notice, he was bowling with a new white ball. So I'm going to challenge him again now and give him an older ball to try and use. Okay? He might get frustrated if he doesn't get it, but it's all a part of the game. And also, I still like to encourage hitting the stumps, because if he do miss his length, he's still hitting the stump as well. For me, I mean, there's so many different ways of bowling Yorkers. If you listen to some of the best Yorker bowlers, the Chris Jordan and these guys, people talk a lot about dropping their arm, people with a slingy action. But for me, you have to be really careful when you listen to these things, because when you're dealing with a young player, these guys understand their body, so they could change things and go back to where they can. But with a young player who's still trying to find their way, it's very important that you just put a target and encourage them to let them find a way to hit the target, instead of talking to them about what someone else do. They will find a way to hit the target. Everyone's different again, and we're going to leave it at that. Again, this is for more the younger players. For maybe a professional, I think so with cones, for me and cones, you have to be really careful with it, what you're doing. Especially professional players, they like to visualize in their head, some players. But for a younger player, if you were working with a younger player, and say he was a bit wide on the crease here, and you want him to get closer, so the simple things, you could just put some cones down in this straight line, so some little cones in the straight line there, and again, this is a very, very basic stuff, and as you can see, you could go all the way where he's running up from, and just encourage him to just run straight, to just practice him running in a straight line and angle. You could do the same around the wicket. You could move on from that. There's so many stuff you could do. You could move on from that, and you could get those intervention hurdles and put them high so they could run in between. And one of the ones that works well, what we used to use a lot, if you have more than one bowler, you could just get some crash mat here and let them stand with a crash. I don't have one here to demonstrate that. A few crash mats, and let them just run through to kind of keep them in a straight line, and always making sure that the momentum is always going towards the target. So basic drills here. So look, I like to try and be creative, you know. So if you look here, I have the camera stand. I wouldn't encourage you to use this, but it's almost the same height as me. So if I remove the helmet here, and then I put it on here like this, like say a left-handed batter, you could always make it a bit taller, depends on how you have, and then you could just encourage your bowler to try and hit the helmet. Very, very simple. With no coaching instruction, can you hit the helmet? Okay, and that will encourage them to bowl the bouncer. This is a badminton pole, and if you look, I try and make it as repetitive as where a batter would stand, and similar again. And can your bowler run in from here? Can he run in, and can he bounce the ball and hit the top of that? All right. So little drills you could do, you know. If you're going to do a bouncer warm-up drill, you could just get in, say from here to bowl from here, just get into his bowling position, try and hit it. So that's a warm-up, okay? So that's a warm-up, and then you bring him back. Again, you bring him back from here, from halfway now. Again, make sure I don't break your camera stand, because I'm not that accurate. And then from here again. Okay, so that's one. You encourage the bouncer. You're not going to get a full run out of me. And then can he walk through? Whether from over the wicket or on, can he just walk through again here? Okay. And the last bit, then that person, again maybe, just from a little short run up, you know, just from a little short run up, here, from here again. Okay. Woo. That's the most you're gonna get out of me. That's my first time I bowled in 6 years. Yeah, but just little drills like that, just warming up right through, and then maybe from all the way back, from the full run up, yeah, and just try and say 12 balls challenge, try and hit the helmet. You could bring in whatever you want. You could find out what motivates your player. If it's money, you could chuck a pound coin in there, a £5 note. If it's coffee or any other type of drinks, what motivates the player is important. So you try to get them motivated to do it, but challenge them. So yeah, so I mean, if you notice here, I have a ball. At the moment, there's no shiny side on this. And what I would encourage young players to do is to make sure they look after this ball. Most of the times you see them in games, you see they're chucking the ball around. If you watch any test cricket, or you always see someone have the ball in here, okay? They doesn't let any of this side get wet, and they work on one side because they want the ball to swing, and they keep shining that side. But the key thing for me is what I see work most is, as I said, I'm going to try and go right hand this time, is getting your wrists behind the ball. Once your wrist is behind that ball, okay, you could do whatever you want with it. Once the wrist goes behind it, you know, if your shiny side is pointing there and you want to bowl a big outswinger, and you want to bowl about inswinger, you could just shape it a little way there. One thing I find work as well, you could just get your thumb under here and get that thumb under there, and that if you can control that, it will even swing a bit more. For your in-swinger, it's the same thing again. The ball is important. My rough side becomes this side. I want my wrist behind it. That's the first basic stuff. My wrist's behind the ball, and where the rough side, the heavier side, is pointing. So when that ball comes down, it's gonna obviously come down like so. If this ball gets really roughed up, and it's a sunny day like today, which is outside, and the pitch is dry, you also can try a little wobble. You know, we've seen a lot of that where the ball goes. So the wobble seam is, again, you know, you want to hold the ball just like that, like so, and you want it to be coming out just like that, just wobbling in the air. So when the ball hits when it hits, instead of it going that way, it comes back. It just hits and just stays. And those are the ones that kind of hit the splice of the bat and maybe give you a wicket on a tough day when it's nothing on the ball. Another way of looking after the ball to get it to reverse, is make sure that there's a way where you could rough one side up legally. Don't start rubbing this thing on the floor, but is the way you throw in the ball, and you make sure you keep one side shine. And obviously, reverse swing is where the ball go, the opposite of where you want it to go. That's the best way to describe it. So if I want to reverse this thing now, and this was my shiny side, it means the ball should be going in, but it will go the opposite way. Again, if you notice, I have 2-hole ball here. There's so much things you could do with these. Knuckleball. Some people get their thumb down in it like that. Some people, when they're going through the action, they hold it back there. Some people do the split finger. Some people bowl cutter, half cutter, leg cutters, the back of the hand slow the ball. There's so many of them out there. But again, for me, and this is my philosophy in doing this, I want to see what the bowler can do first before I start encouraging these things to him. So I might just say, do you have a slower ball? Bowl it. Let me see. He might come up with something new where you never seen before. He might bowl it like that, and it comes out like that. So before, again, you start trying to coach all of these things, make sure that you find out what the player have, again.